Hi, I am Senthilkumar. I am collecting stamps from 2020 during the COVID break. So then become very curious based on the interaction with CEPA members and then started exhibiting in many things. Currently I had exhibited for TANAPEX in the theme of Olympics. My exhibit is titled Games Wide Open. This covers basically the sporting events of Paris 2024 Summer Olympics. So I'll just go through my exhibit. This is in 5 frames. So starting with the first page, we have the title and a brief description about the exhibit. So this is done in A3 size. So to give an indication of the sporting events, I had used the Monaco miniature sheet, which is issued for Paris Olympics. It covers some of the new events which is done in this Olympics. Then in the prelude part, we discuss about ancient Olympics, and from ancient Olympics what efforts Pierre de Coubertin has taken, and this also has stamps from Athens 1896. And then where Paris is the second city to host Olympics for the third time. The first one is London, and then from Paris, when it was hosted, it is 1900 and 1924. We have material related to that. Here we have an error stamp, which is basically a overprint issued for Syria. In PS3s, instead of A, we have an inverted V in this stamp, so that's what kept here. And then this is about the venues. Though it is Paris, basically it is not done only in Paris. It was done in and around Paris, some of the metropolises of Paris also, and some cities in French and some territories of French. So these are the metropolitans of Paris, where we had used meter franking like Versailles and Saint-Denis. And then we have in Marseilles, which is far away from Paris. This also, but it is in France only. This cover is issued in 1924, 100 years back, and this is the last day recognized cancellation of this special cancellation issued for special Paris 1924 Olympics. Then farthest location is in French Polynesia in Tahiti, where the surfing events were conducted. So we have a stamp from French Polynesia. Interestingly, this time they had used an eco-friendly Olympic cauldron. So there it is based on LED lights, no flames are used. So for this, France has used a special stamp which is shown here. Then this is a Berlin stamp where the rally started, but this is basically an acknowledgement kind of thing, parcel acknowledgement, like what we get acknowledgement for registered post. So then the events, then it is about the Paris Olympics, about the emblem and the motif for Paris. And then we have the other information related to the partisan. Due to Ukraine war, Russia and Belarus, who supported Ukraine, they were not allowed to participate in this Olympic. Apart from this, 204 countries participated in this Olympics. This exhibit has stamps from all the 206 countries, as well as right from Athens 1896 to Paris 2024, all philatelic material are there in this exhibit. Then we started with the events. Then we had running. First is athletics. In athletics, we started with the running events. So running, relay race, walking, and marathon. These are the running events. And then we went into the hurdles race, and then we have steeplechase race. So after steeplechase, the running section is over. Then we move to the cycling section. In cycling, there are different types of cycling. One is road cycling. Then we have velodrome cycling, and then we have hard, basically mountain biking. Then we have BMX for the youngsters on the BMX style cycling. So in cycling events, France has dominated. They got the more number of gold medals. And then we have sport climbing, which was introduced in Tokyo. So in sport climbing, some changes were made in this year. In Tokyo, there was only one event. In Paris, we have 2 different events. So that is also covered here. And then we move to the throwing events. So first is discus. So in discus, we have a CPF proof from Togo. So CPF proof, only 5 numbers will be issued. So this is one of the scarce items. And then we have discus throw. Then we have shot put. And then we have javelin. And then we have hammer throw. For javelin, Pakistan issued a stamp on Nadeem, celebrating his gold medal victory. That is also shown here, since he is a gold medal winner for javelin. And then we have long jump and high jump. So we have long jump events and then high jump events. Then after high jump, we have triple jump, and then triple jump, then we have pole vault. So this covers the throwing events, where we need to throw the longer or faster. Then we move to the water-based speed events. So there are 4 different events: swimming, canoe, rowing, and sailing. So then these events are covered here. We have swimming events here. Then we have rowing events here, and then we have canoe events. For canoe, we have a color proofs which has been shown here, and then from canoeing we move to sailing. So So sailing also different stamps are used. Since Netherlands are dominated sailing, I had used a sailing stamp issued for Amsterdam 1928, used on postage cover. In sailing, two new items were introduced this year. One is basically skateboarding, which is issued by Monaco again. And then for windsurfing, they use new type of windsurfing equipment for this Paris 2024 Olympics. That is also shown here. We have a art shape stamp, round shape stamp shown here. And with this we cover the speed events. Then there are also championship events. Basically you need to excel in many events to be a champion. The biggest one is for the men's, which is decathlon. A person has to excel in 10 different events and then you need to win the award. A Norwegian athlete has won this award. What are the events is described in this stamps. And then similar to decathlon, for women it is heptathlon. They need to excel in 7 events. So that is mentioned here. Here also we have an art shade stamp, which is basically a trapezoid from Sri Lanka. And then pentathlon is basically those days soldiers used to excel in many events like shooting, horse riding, swimming. So based on that, pentathlon was developed. So these 5 events will be conducted for both men and women. So Egypt and Greece have won the award for pentathlon. Then triathlon is basically endurance events. It will test your endurance, long distance swimming, long distance cycling, long distance running. This is for both men and women. It is introduced from Sydney. So here you have a booklet in the shape of circular stamp, which is issued by Switzerland for Sydney 2000, indicating the triathlon events. So that's a booklet here. Then we move to the events where you need to show your elegance. These are basically where we need to show speed. Next is your elegance. In elegance, we have horse riding as first, where you need to show your elegance with the horse. This is the only event where animals are used, and animal is also considered as an athlete. So even horse is equally considered as an athlete. So first is basically on show jumping and other events. Next we have endurance events like in horse, where 3 events we need to do, which is basically eventing. 3 events you need to participate: crossroad, jumping, and also showcasing. So that is shown here. Then skateboarding, which is introduced in Tokyo, is continued in Paris also. So the events related to skateboarding is shown here. Then we have the elegance. The moment we come, then with the next elegance is diving. In diving, basically there are 2 different types of diving. One as individual, other one is synchronized diving. Both the events are covered here. Then we have artistic swimming. This is basically an interesting event. This is only for women. Normally Russians used to dominate this event. Since Russians were not allowed to participate in this Olympics, this time Chinese have taken all the medals in artistic swimming. We have an interesting stamp here. A set of stamps this is supposed to be issued like this. In one set of stamps were issued wrongly printed, where text was printed invertly down. So you see this stamp is actual stamp. In this stamp you will see the swimmer is upside down. This is based on error in printing. So that's also shown here. It's a regular error. And then the moment elegance, the main elegance is gymnastics. So in gymnastics, there will be different events for men and women. You need to excel in individual also as group also. So these individual events. So here we have 5 for men and 4 for women. Those details are given here. And then this is mainly for women, which is basically rhythmic gymnastics. So they will be doing the gymnastic studies with an equipment. So it will be like a string or a ball or a hoop or a ring. So they will be using this and doing the rhythmic gymnastics. So that details are presented here. And then the next kind of gymnastics is basically trampoline. In jumping in a trampoline, you need to show your elegance. So for trampoline, Greece has issued a special cover during Athens 2000 Olympics. So that is used here. And then in this Paris Olympics, a new event was introduced, which is basically break dancing. So in break dancing, for Spain has issued a special stamp, which is a die cut. So normally it is not visible. With a dark background, you can see the stamp is die cut, where it is like a break dancer is shown. So this is a special stamp which is issued by Spain for break dancing for Paris. This is also shown here. And then we go for endurance events, where you show your strength. So main is weightlifting. First event is weightlifting. What are the different types of weightlifting? And boxing. And then we have wrestling events. 2 types of wrestling is there: freestyle wrestling and Greco-Roman wrestling. Both are shown here. And then judo and karate, which is basically your martial arts. And then your skills in fencing, which is shown here. Then after fencing, the next event is archery and shooting. So in archery, we have different events. So here we have a small arrow stamp, where we have perforation shift in Indian stamp. So you miss your target, you miss your goal. That's what we are trying to say here. And then shooting, different kinds of shooting are there. India released special cancellation for shooting. Those things are also shown here. And then we move to team events. So in team events, basically we use balls. So with ball, what are the different types of games we are playing here? So that's what we are showing here. The first one is volleyball. And then we have two types of volleyball is there. One is indoor volleyball, other one is beach volleyball. So both the events are covered here. And then similarly for basketball, we have two. One is played by 5 members of team, other one is played by 3 members of team, which is introduced in Tokyo. So that is also shown here. And the first team event to be contested in Olympics is water polo. So that is covered here. Then in water polo, like football, we have handball. Instead of using foot, you should use only hand here. So handball is covered here. Then after handball, we have rugby. Rugby is a modified version for Olympics. We are allowed rugby sevens, which is not exactly American football, but it's basically a rugby sevens. There are different set of rules for Olympics that is contested here. And then we have the famous football and hockey, the team events, which is very well known to many people. So those are covered here. And then we have individual events which is played with balls, like tennis and badminton. And then we have badminton and golf. Both are covered here. So finally we are concluding how the events went and who got most number of medals. Interesting, this is the first Summer Olympics where there is a tie for the first place with respect to gold medals. Both USA and China got same number of gold medals, but USA got higher number of silver medals because of that they were placed first in the medal tally. Guatemala, Botswana, they got for their first gold medals here. So then the Antwerp ceremony was held and it was closed. So this is how the Summer Olympics was done in Paris Olympics.